All right, folks, buckle up because the 2025 bass fishing season is off to a hilariously challenging start. Forget your easy catches because across the Pacific Northwest, the bass seem to have enrolled in Houdini's school of aquatic vanishing acts. Crazy place to be. Springtime Northwest bass fishing, dude. Forget about it. But first up, the Umpqua Valley Bassmasters kick things off at Tenmile Lake, and they just say 9 teams discovered the lake's impressive talent for hiding its inhabitants. Even Chris, perhaps we should try another lake pogue, might have been considering a change of scenery that day. But amidst the fish and visibility, Dylan actually caught one borsec, and Connor mbop all odds Hansen managed to briefly interrupt the aquatic Houdini act. Then the real March Madness wasn't on the courts, it was at the Rogue Valley Bassmasters Shasta Lake Throwdown. Word on the water was the fish were less biting and more aggressively negotiating for the bait. We saw determined efforts from Jeff Calmy, maybe Conley, and Zach Chuck Norris approved Walker. And then Kyle, definitely not related to his other Deering guys, Deering, and Kevin, also not related, Deering, landed a spotted bass that apparently needed a GPS to find the way. And finally, forget the fisticuffs, the real rumble happened at the Washington Bass Federation and Columbia-based Bass Club's Potholes Reservoir event. Anglers were pulling all the stops and ties to bite. Casey, apparently a fish whisperer, Sinceros, and Nick knows something we don't. Blastel emerged victorious, but the real showstopper was Monty pulled a rabbit out of the hat, Bowden, who single-handedly wrangled a real lunker. So it looks like the Pacific Northwest bass slingers are all in action, chasing the dream one ridiculously elusive fish at a time. Let's dive into the highlights. Welcome back to Two More Cast News. My name is Nick, and this week we are doing a recap on all the tournaments that took place on March 22nd to March 23rd, that weekend last weekend. I'm going to try and get these out by the Monday after the tournament weekends and get them out. But if you're involved in the tournaments in the Northwest and want to be mentioned or easy to contact, just leave a comment where your socials are, what club you're fishing in, and just keep growing. That's the whole idea, is just grow the Northwest scene of bass fishing. It's kind of a crazy thing. There's a lot of clubs and a lot of things going on at all times. But we're going to start this off with the Umpqua Valley Bassmasters, a bass fishing club based in Douglas County, Oregon, kicked off their 2025 season with a tournament on Tenmile Lake formed in 1976. That was a long time ago. But this family-oriented organization has a rich history of focusing on bass fishing and collaborating with the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife on various projects. But nestled near Lakeside, Oregon, Tenmile Lake is a standout natural wonder on the southern Oregon coast. It's just below the Umpqua River. It's a pretty nice area too, man. But it's actually a two-lake system. You got North 10 Mile, South 10 Mile, and it's connected by a half-mile canal. Now by boat, kayak, jet ski. You might swim it if you want. No, I'm not swimming that though. But it spans roughly 2,000 acres of one of Oregon's largest freshwater lakes with over 170 miles of shoreline. Thanks to its intricate tree-like layout filled with coves and inlets, it's located about 8 miles south of Reedsport and a half-mile east of U.S. Route 101. And it sits near the Oregon Dunes National Recreation Area, where coastal shores are blended into dense forest scenery. Dirt bikes are flying and quads are racing. It's a crazy place to be in that area. But the first term of the season was a grind. Only 32 bass were weighed in total, with just 5 teams managing a full 5 fish limit. 9 teams didn't even bring a single fish to the scales. Even last year's Umpqua Valley Bassmaster Angler of the Year, Chris Pogue, got skunked, leaving the weigh-in empty-handed. Man, that's how tough the conditions were. But there were highlights. The big bass tournament was a monster 5.5-pound caught by Dylan Borsec and Connor Hansen. And that fish turned some heads for sure, dude. And we'll dive into their story shortly. They reached out, they reached back, and kind of gave me the story about what happened there. But here's a top 5 breakdown. In 5th place, Sean Smalley and Chris Parks secured a 5-fish limit of 11.11 pounds, man. Definitely solid effort. And then 4th place went to Ron Six and Luke Van Norman, and they had a total of 11 pounds, 28 ounces. A razor thin margin over 5th. They pulled it off, man. And then 3rd place belonged to Clint Messner and Eric Wilson, who had a stellar day with 13.93 pounds. They boosted by a hefty 4-pound 10-mile lake bass that locked in their podium finish. Here's a fun fact. Clint took 5th in 2024, which is last year's tournament, with a different non-boater. So he's climbing the ranks this year, man. He did better this year than last year. That's all you can hope for, right? Tournaments are tough. But 2nd place went to a solo angler, Dawson Gillespie, who finished alone and still dominated with 14.6 pounds. An impressive way to start the season. And Dylan Borsec and Connor Hansen taking first with a commanding 16.5 pounds. And that haul included their 5.4-pound bass, making it a double victory, winning big fish and the tournament. And Dylan shared some insight into their win. He said, that Saturday, the Umpqua Club was at Tenmile. My co-angler and I were going to pre-fish for the Federation event on the 29th, but we found out there was a tournament there. We decided to join. Going into the tournament, we had low expectations of winning. We really wanted to just learn new spots for the Federation event. And we caught one within 10 minutes. Didn't have another bite until 11. That's crazy, dude. That's a span of time with no bites for sure. And it says we caught our second fish and decided to switch lakes where with 30 minutes left in the tournament, we landed 3 fish within 4 minutes of each other. That's crazy, too. Springtime, man. The bite's on when it's on. Even to explain their strategy. When we switched lakes, the water was much clearer and we decided to pick a spinnerbait and a chatterbait in covered ground, remembering we were just searching for fish for the Federation event coming up. With clear water, we picked up a natural color spinnerbait and decided to try a very unnatural chatterbait just to experiment with both, and both got bit. Our key to success was just moving water. After we caught those 3, we left 10 plus other fish in that spot, so we didn't burn it for the Federation event. Moving water set us up to eventually run into them. And with them schooled up, it helped a bunch. You're going to see that a lot too, the chatterbait, spinnerbait from other tournaments that are coming out too, but reflecting on their mindset he added. A lot of other events, I set the bar high. We were going into this one. We went in just to have fun and learn this lake better and try spots we've never fished. A few side notes from this event. Dan Kuntz, who won this event in 2024, was one of only 2 teams to hit a 5-fish limit last year, but he dropped to 6 this time. And it's still competitive, but not the repeat he was aiming for sure. And that's the recap from the 10-mile lake, man. Tough fishing, big moments, and some serious bass to wrap it up, man. Drop a like if you enjoyed this update. We're going to keep doing them too. But again, in the comments, man, let us know your socials, who you are, who you're fishing with, so we can reach out to you, get your comments about how it's going. But on the next tournament this past weekend, the Washington Bass Federation partnered with the Columbia Bass Club for a challenging yet exciting tournament at Potholes. Reservoir. Potholes are an awesome place to fish. And anglers from both groups fished side by side. TBF members and club members battling it out. The bite was tough, but the top teams adapted and delivered impressive results. This was a good one, man. Potholes always represents, even if it's a bad, slow day. But claiming first place were teammates Casey Cineros and Nick Blasdell, who landed 5 fish weighing 18 pounds, including a 5 1/4 big fish. TBF teammates James Castillo and Tyler Whiff followed in second with 5 fish totaling 16.6 pounds and a 5.9-pound big fish. In third place went to River Lawson and Ty Lawson, who brought in 5 fish at 16 pounds for 210 points each. Wild, man. And then in fourth place, you had teammates Cody McKenna and Adrian Jimenez. We had 5 fish at 16 pounds, including a 4.0-pound big fish, earning 204 points each. McKenna described their start. The water level at Potholes was around full pool, and Adrian and I's first time fishing it that high. It was 38 in the morning. That's pretty cold, man. So definitely chilly. That's what he said. We just started to start deeper on the edge of grass, on the edge of the grass line to cover water right off the bat, man. He started also with a chatterbait, Adrian with the spinnerbait. 2 different tournaments, same ideas. To get the picture. And we thought power fishing was going to be the move. Adrian added insight on the conditions. He said, warmer stained water was key. Ideally 47 to 50 degrees, a slight hint of brown to it, not green, not blue, and no snodgrass. And after Adrian landed a spinnerbait fish in the first hour, it died. Couldn't buy a bite, Cody said. Then they shifted shallow to flip wood. After hours of nothing, Adrian flipped out a tree and boated a 4-pounder that bit right under the boat. He boat flipped it so quick I barely could react. McKenna later recalled, later at the dunes with their fishing points, McKenna noted, I was tossing a chatterbait and the fish latched on, but wasn't there when I set the hook. I knew it was a fish, so I grabbed a wacky worm and tossed it in. The fish immediately hit, and we boated a 3.5-pounder for our first coal in a wood-loaded cove, despite others reporting no bites. Adrian cast right at the base of a tree, and Jack's another 4-pounder that coaled a 2.3 for us and gave us 15.6, Cody said. Adrian reflected. He said, patience. As the day progressively gets warmer, usually the bite gets better because 1, the fish start to really move, and 2, the fish just start getting a little more active. That's springtime, man. These are all it's good springtime information for sure. The day tested their limits. Toughest day on Potholes both Cody and I have ever had, Adrian said. 16 pounds on that lake this time of year never usually cashes a check. But a lot of locals came in, they sacked 20 pounds for practice and then came in short of a limit or small limit. So the weather definitely affected the bite. Yeah, springtime Northwest is really unpredictable. And Cody added, we got to the weigh-in and everyone said the bite was tough. And most people didn't even have 5. When we weighed in, they said we had a really good shot of getting paid. Finished in fourth, only ounces from second and third, and 1.5 from first. Adrian pondered. If we would have had practice, I believe we would have stayed deeper in the channel, as most females are probably still there holding. Let me continue on. The solo angular Austin Sandman took fifth with 5 fish at 15.5 pounds, including a 4.3 pound big fish. Teammates Scott Gregory and Jordan Gregory landed 5 fish at 15.08 pounds, followed by Ricky Hamilton and Gary Blackburn with 5 fish at 14.6 pounds. Santos Garza and Isaiah Garza brought in 5 fish totaling 14 pounds. They had a 3.7 pound big fish. And then TBF angler Monty Bowden fished solo, landing 5 fish at 13.8 pounds, including the tournament's biggest at 6.07. That is nuts, man. For the TBF members, these points count toward Angler of the Year award and the National Championship Finals, where Washington faces Oregon, with the winner advancing to the Nationals. And Cody shared the team's goals. He says, we plan to fish as many of the TBF events as possible in hopes of finishing in first as a team and automatically qualifying for the Nationals, which is new this year. We have 2 99s and a 96. We're sitting in a good spot. We're doing the Lake Washington Big Bass next in a couple weeks with all eyes on trying to win that. Good luck at carrying on that mission for sure, man. But despite a brutal bite, the Potholes Reservoir tournament highlighted adaptability and teamwork. Congrats to all the anglers and good luck to TBF competitors as they chase championship glory. 2025 is already off to a crazy start. Now we go to the American Bass Association Idaho South Tournament recap at Brownlee Reservoir Showdown. It's kind of a crazy one here, too. But Brownlee Reservoir is awesome, man. Battling it out in the waters of the Snake River. The Gill Reefs established themselves as the team to beat with a notable catch. But don't count on Dave Bell and Mike Bell just yet. They brought in a bass that definitely turned some heads. Just kidding. We're going to break down how it all unfolded right here. Yeah, this one's coming up next. Definitely interesting. The Bass Associations in Idaho South Division hosted a competitive tournament at Brownlee Reservoir that we'd already mentioned before, but it's a renowned fishery on the Snake River along the Idaho-Oregon border. Anglers faced challenging conditions as the top teams adapted to deliver solid bags, cashing in on both team and big fish prizes in a thrilling day of fishing. Lloyd Gilreath and Lloyd Gilreath Sr. claimed the first place, the 16.31 pound bag. That's crazy. Their biggest was a 3.7 pound fish. But their impressive performance earned the team first payout of $1,140 plus an additional $300 for the big fish, bringing their total to $1,440. Not a bad weekend. Tanner Calhoun and Bruce Calhoun secured second with a 15.8 pound bag, taking them $655. And $180 taking home the second big bass of the day, bringing their total to $835. Justin Soap and Vernon Soap rounded out the podium with 15.5 pounds, including an almost 4-pounder. For big fish that also earned them the second big fish of the tournament, they got $350 for that, bringing their total to $470. Not a bad week of fishing. But in the big fish category, Dave Bell and Mike Bell took the top prize with a 4.5 pound lunker, earning $400 for the biggest fish of the tournament. Bells also finished strong in the overall standings, placing 6th with 14.5 pound bag. The overall standings showed tight competition across the field, that's for sure, man. Wade Curtis and Ron Robinson landed 4th with 14.9 pounds, and they had a 3 pound big fish in their bag. That's wild too, man. But Chad Beveridge and Danvin Singh Soli took 5th with 14.6 pounds and a 3.5 pound big fish. Mike Swain and Tim Swain finished 7th with 14.4 pounds, followed by Sherry Caldwell and Ryan Gutierrez with 13.9 pounds and 8th. Then Randy Miller and Chris Felty posted 13.7 pounds for 9th. And Jason Hickey and Zane Beams rounded out the top 10 with 12.11 pounds. Not bad at all. That's a great weekend. But further down, Jay Bagley and Jeremy Onthink weighed 11.9 pounds. Chris Hammond and Ron Hammond had 11.7 pounds. Steve Spear and Jim Davis brought in 11.5 pounds. Craziness. And Tim Gregory and Tony Goff posted 11 pounds. Adam Deacon and Lauren Torek weighed 10.25 pounds, followed by Nate Croft and Denton Crofts with 7.5 pounds. Not a bad weekend at all, man. It's good stuff, dude, for sure. But Derek Rader and Joey Taylor unfortunately zeroed out, rounding out the 17-team field. But Brownlee Reservoir, the stage for this tournament, is a fascinating fishery with a rich history and unique features. Stretching over 50 miles long, the Snake River is huge. Brownlee is the largest of 3 reservoirs. in the Hells Canyon complex. Of course, covering around 11,000 acres at full pool. Massive, man. But interesting, the reservoir is named after a ferry operator, Mr. Brownlee, who ran a crossing on the Snake River in the 1800s, long before the Brownlee Dam was constructed by Idaho Power in 1958. It's wild, too. Another notable fact, Brownlee holds a state record for a 45-pound flathead catfish caught in 1994. Testaments to its reputation as one of the Pacific Northwest's premier warm water fisheries, known for its bass, catfish, and crappie populations. I'm going to guess that catfish for sure. The ABA Idaho South Tournament at Brownlee Reservoir highlighted the skill and resilience of its anglers, with the top teams overcoming tough conditions to claim their share of the payouts. Congrats to all the competitors, especially Lloyd Gilreath and Lloyd Gil Reese Sr., for their dominant performance and well-earned victory at the iconic Idaho fishery. Now we're going to get into the Rogue Valley Bassmasters. The club hosts tournaments once a month from March to October, offering anglers a chance to compete, have fun, and sharpen their skills against some of the best in the region. This is the third and fourth tournament for the club in 2025. Saturday and Sunday are separate events, but they're same weekend, same lake, same place, but two different tournaments essentially. Shasta Lake near Redding in Northern California, the Standout Reservoir, and a gem of the region's outdoor offerings. Created by the Shasta Dam on the Sacramento River, it's California's largest reservoir, with a capacity exceeding 4.5 million acre feet, spanning Shasta County. It draws water from the Sacramento, Pitt, and McCloud rivers, along with smaller creeks, forming a rugged, sprawling layout with four primary arms: Sacramento, McCloud, Pitt, and Squaw. When full, it stretches across 30,000 acres and features over 370 miles of shoreline, far outsizing Oregon's Tenmile Lake. Nestled beneath the 1,479-foot Mount Shasta, it pairs stunning volcanic vistas with pristine, deep waters. On March 22nd, the Rogue Valley Bassmasters hosted a tournament on Shasta Lake, bringing in 16 teams for a competitive day of fishing. A lot of 62 fish were caught, 54 spotted bass, 5 smallmouth, and 3 largemouth bass with a combined weight of 149.98 pounds. That's ridiculous. Reflecting the anglers' care, no fish had died that day either. But Jeff Connolly and Zach Walker took first place with a 5-fish bag weighing 13.3 pounds, consisting of 4 spotted bass, 1 largemouth. Wow. It was 4 pounds, man. The second heaviest of the day, earning 13.36 points. In second place, Kevin Frondorfer and Ty Cummins also brought a 5-fish limit of spotted bass to 13.2 pounds. Their 4.5-pound spotted bass secured the big fish reward, and Rick O'Callahan and Ryan O'Callahan claimed third with a 5-fish limit of spotted bass at 13.7 pounds. That's wild. That's a lot of fish. Spotted bass are fun as well. Mike Hess and Mike Hess Jr. finished fourth with a mixed bag of 5 fish, 2 spotted, 2 smallmouth, and 1 largemouth at 12 pounds. That's crazy. Their smallmouth was the largest of the species of the tournament. And Kevin Bigby and Joe Bigby rounded out the top 5 with a 5-fish limit of spotted bass with 11 pounds, including a 2.5-pounder. The largest fish of the day was the 4.6-pound smallmouth caught by Mike Hess and Mike Hess Jr. The tight competition at the top, with less than a pound separating the top 3 teams, promises an exciting season ahead for the Rogue Valley Bassmasters. If you're in the area, man, definitely look into this club. It's worth going to for sure. Which brings us to Sunday. The Rogue Valley Bassmasters held their Sunday tournament on Shasta Lake on March 23rd, 2025, with 14 teams competing. A total of 53 fish were weighed in, including 47 spotted bass, 5 smallmouth bass, and 1 largemouth bass, for a combined weight of 111 pounds. No dead fish were reported again, so that's 2 days, no dead fish, over 100 pounds caught on both days, man. The angler's commitment to careful catch and handling, for sure. Kyle Deering and Kevin Deering took first place with a 5-fish limit of spotted bass, totaling an impressive 18.9 pounds, almost 19 pounds. That's crazy. But their bag featured the largest fish of the day, a 6-pound spotted bass, earning them 18.96 points for their club. In second place, Rick O'Callahan and Ryan O'Callahan secured a 5-fish limit of spotted bass weighing 14.42 pounds. It's a wild day, dude. 14 pounds. Kevin Bigby and Zeke Bigby claimed third with a 5-fish limit of spotted bass at 14.24 pounds. Their largest fish was almost a 5-pound spotted bass, came in at 4.95. It's pretty close to 5 pounds. I'd call it 5 pounds. It was me. But Logan Miles and Morgan Miles finished fourth with a 5-fish limit of spotted bass, totaling 10.97 pounds. Spotted bass kind of a day, dude. There was almost a 4-pound spotted bass was their biggest fish of the day. 3.98, 4 pounds. Joe Meadern Jr. and Joe Meadern Sr. rounded out the top 5 with a 5-fish limit of spotted bass at 9.79 pounds. Their largest fish of the tournament was 6.03 pounds spotted bass. That's giant. I never even caught a spotted bass. 6 pounders, huge. But it was caught by Kyle and Kevin Deering, and they set a hard bar for the day. Set a high bar for the day, and the strong performances in the top 5 highlighted the competitive spirit of the event. And that's it. Those are the clubs that fished today, fished this weekend, fished March 22nd, March 23rd. And again, man, if you would, just in the comments, just write where your club you're fishing for. It could be anyone, even if they're not mentioned in this one. If you're fishing in the Pacific Northwest in any of these clubs, just write your name, put your socials down so people can follow you. We can follow you. I can follow you. Message you about, you know what I mean, where you place, get more comments, and just grow the sport Northwest, man. That's the plan. That's the idea. It's the overall goal. Just keep growing, man. But that's going to do it for this one. Later.